Look, nobody's saying he's not good, and Mike Golic Sr. knows that. With Westwood One, he was there doing that Cowboy-Packer game over the weekend. Got to listen to it a little bit. Mike sounded great. Appreciate you coming on, Willard and Dibs. What were your impressions of Jordan Love, and have they changed a little bit here toward the end of the year?
Well, I don't know about change. I think Jordan Love, even though he's been in the league a while, he's still a first-year starter. We've seen kind of a maturation with him, and I think the biggest thing is patience. A lot of times with young quarterbacks, you'll see their feet start to move a little quick, and I think the game is starting to slow down for him a bit, which helps. He's sliding in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield instead of on the rush. So I really think a lot of it is that because and also you have to realize he's got, nice receivers to throw to, which amazingly enough, 4 are rookies and 2 are second-year guys. So they're the youngest team to win a game in the playoffs in years. They're the youngest team to be in the playoffs in years. So maybe they're a little early to where they are, but a lot of that is because of Jordan Love. Aaron Jones is running great as well, but you need that quarterback to be calm in the pocket. He's been showing that.
How were they able to just completely hot knife through butter against a Dallas defense that was supposed to be more vaunted than that? Were you surprised at how easily Green Bay made it look?
Sometimes we look at season stats, and I think we need to look at what have you done for me lately stats in some things. I'm not saying in everything. But for the Cowboys, the last 3 regular season games, they were giving up 160 yards on the ground a game. And that was where Green Bay – now, all the things I said about Jordan Love obviously are true, but it helps when you have a pretty good running game. The last 3 regular games of the season, Aaron Jones went for over 100 yards. So the running game was going. And I think one of the great moves they did, and you don't see it a lot. I mean, in NFL games, when the coin toss hits, if you win the toss, normally you defer. Matt LaFleur won the toss. Green Bay did, and they took the ball because they wanted to set the tone. They didn't want Dallas to get the ball in front of that home crowd where they were undefeated and get a score early and kind of really keep the momentum. And it worked to a T. 12-play drive, 75 yards, almost 8 minutes. 8 of those plays were run, 7 to Aaron Jones. It worked great. So I think that was the big thing is they were able to establish the run against that defense. And you start to do that, and it really helps your quarterback, especially a young quarterback, in play action to be able to spread it around to those different receivers.
Mike Golic Sr. with us here on the Boxer and Gerson guest line. Willard and Dibs, 95.7 The Game. Mike is also doing the game this weekend, Niners and Packers. So let's go with what you were just talking about, end of the season stats. The Niners have actually not been up to their standards against the run last few weeks. Do you think that was more of an Armstead is missing thing, or do the Packers have a little bit of a shot there too?
Well, I think like any answer like that, I'm not going to sit there and say it's Armstead back and all of a sudden the run defense is solved. It doesn't work that way because you're not running right at them all the time. So, there is something to the fact of how you're playing at the end, and Green Bay is going to test that. They would rather not, even though Love is playing well, and the biggest thing about him is the last 8 regular season games, he threw 1 touchdown to go with 18 touchdowns to go with 1 interception. So a young quarterback not turning the ball over. So they're going to want to run the ball against San Francisco without question to try and control the ball. So just like the Cowboys were good all year, and then toward the end they started faltering a little bit against the run, Green Bay is going to try to exploit that. Getting Armstead back is certainly going to help, but it's an area that they're really going to try to exploit because it's going to help that short passing game.
How much does the 3 wide receiver approach for Green Bay match up with the 49ers, who may be a little bit more vulnerable in the secondary? As much as Green Bay wants to establish the run, do you think that they try to air it out a little bit more and get the 49ers into more coverage situations?
Well, I mean, I think game will dictate that. If you run, especially if you run on first down, what's the situation? Are you gaining 4, 5, 6 yards now? Are you in second and 6, 5, and 4? That's offense dictating the defense because they're ahead of the sticks. So I think a lot depends on that. But if you start having early success running the ball on first down, what you start doing then is you start play actioning on first down because the opponent has seen the run. So you get your linebackers to step up. And you saw Romeo Doubs had 3 big catches, in the middle of the field, down the field, over the linebackers, in front of the safeties. They exploited that very, very well. So they like these receivers, sometimes deep, but we're in a world now of shorter passes, yards after the catch. And like I said, between Jaden Reed, Tavian Wicks, the 2 tight ends, now they got Musgrave back, he and Tucker Kraft, throw in Watson, throw in Romeo Doubs, who had the monster game last week. And there's a lot. You can't just key in on one person. That's going to be one of the issues for the 49ers is you got a lot of guys to deal with. That's why the pressure from that front 4 or the rush is going to be so important for them as well.
Mike, you're a trenches guy, so I got a question for you. It's making a little bit of the rounds out here today. Mark Chmura, the ex-Packers tight end, went on his radio show, and I'll just paraphrase. He advocated the idea of an early 15-yard penalty, late hit on Brock Purdy to set the tone. A lot of people are arms up about it. I sort of look at this and go, look, you football players have a little crazy in you. That's why you're able to play this game. But I'd love to get your take on that. Is that something that actually makes sense to you and is talked about in locker rooms before a big game?
No, I mean, listen, the way I was raised to play the game by my father, who played football, and my brothers played football. My brother was in the league for 14 years, is you hit a guy as hard as you possibly can legally. If he gets up, he gets up. If he doesn't, that's part of the game. But you don't try and do it. You're not trying to hit someone late or trying to hurt somebody. If they get hurt through the course of the game, which we know happens in football, it's not if you get hurt, it's when you get hurt and how bad you get hurt. I would not. I mean, listen, I understand this coming from a guy who played in the 80s when the hitting was a little bit different, and there were, hey, if you knocked the guy out of a game, you got some money, the whole bounty thing. But honor amongst thieves, you had to knock him out in a legal way. It couldn't be a penalty. I'm sure that makes people kind of cringe and still think we're all jerks for it. But I would never advocate doing something illegal just to try and, A, knock somebody out of the game, or B, set a tone. I mean, we saw what happened, unfortunately, to the 49ers last year when Brock Purdy got hurt on a clean hit on his arm. No, that's not something I would do. The Green Bay defense has been playing well, so I don't think that's something you want to resort to at all.
In terms of legal physicality, Trent Williams is the guy I immediately think of, and that running attack when the Niners go to the left side, you add in Debo and Ayuk and George Kittle. Is that ultimately where the Niners can make their most headway on the ground, running to the left side with Christian McCaffrey?
Trent Williams scares me. He's a big, large, mean human being. I mean, that dude is, yeah. I'm just telling you, he does, man. He does. That dude is looking, he plays like he's picking a fight. And that's the way you need to play. He plays aggressive. He's not going to take any crap from anybody. We know he's an all-pro a few years in a row now. So, yeah, I mean, you got Banks, who's a big guy at left guard. So I think that's certainly the way you go. But don't discount a play to the right and a cutback, because the one thing Trent and Aaron can do as well is can cave down a line of scrimmage. They step right and cave it right, and now you open a bit of a cutback lane. So a lot of times it doesn't have to be right at the best lineman. Maybe in short yardage you would like to do that, but you can mix it up, and they can cave a line down so you can have a cutback. But for the most part, I'm going to trust going behind Trent Williams, and then I'm going to buy him any kind of drink he wants.
Mike Golic Sr. with us here on Willard and Dibs. He's doing the game this weekend, Niners and Packers. This is what we do. We talk about quarterbacks and flavor of the month, but it's been suggested that the Packers have the quarterback edge in this game. You buy that?
Well, the way Jordan Love is playing now has been incredible. For all the great Brock Purdy has done, let's remember he's just in his second season as a starter. And make no mistake, he has been playing great. I mean, he is anybody that is trying to downplay anything he's doing because of the talent that's around him. I don't want to hear it. Or the Kyle Shanahan, type of offense is very quarterback friendly. He's stepping in there and getting the job done. I covered him when I was calling college games, and he was at Iowa State. And I remember saying about it then, dude can play from the neck up. He knows where to go with the ball. He's a smart player on there, and he's been showing that here as well. But Love has been playing well. And McKee, again, he's not turning the ball over. And the one great thing I always say about San Francisco is their depth of talent on the offensive side of the ball and playmakers. And while Green Bay doesn't have the names, they've got, like I said, 4 rookies, but they're setting all kind of rookie records together cumulatively on what they're doing on the field. So they're actually getting it done. Again, not the name San Francisco has and not the longevity that they have shown with the San Francisco offense, but the bottom line is you're getting it done. And all you worry about as a professional football player is get to the dance, get to the playoffs, and then you never know what happens. How is your injury-wise? They're doing well injury-wise. Jair Alexander did tweak the ankle again last week, so we'll see how good he is this week. But how well are you playing, and are you turning the ball over, and how is your injury situation? And Green Bay is sitting pretty good now. I don't know if I'm going to sit here and say I would take Love over Purdy at this point, but, I mean, he's doing exactly what he needs to do and getting help by a really good run game.
And it's been a masterclass of drafting by Green Bay the last couple of years. All those skilled guys you talked about, so many different draft picks that have borne fruit this year. Mike, if Green Bay is going to pull off the upset, what do you think is the one thing they have to do to make this happen in Santa Clara?
So here's the matchup that I cannot wait to watch. So as I said, we're kind of in an era of we're in a short passing era. Obviously, we'll take it down the field some, but we see more of those short passes, get the ball in the hands of your athletes and let them make the plays. So what Green Bay did so well last week, and their defense has not been great all year, but toward the end of the year, like I talk about, what do you do for me lately? They've been playing better. In the game against Dallas, gang, passes were getting caught in front of them, the short passes, and they were making the open field tackles. I can't tell. We can talk about all the strategy you want in football, but it basically comes down to one-on-one plays. Can a DN beat an offensive tackle? Can a guard beat a D tackle? Can a linebacker make a play over a guard? Can a cornerback cover a wide receiver? And one of those is, can the defensive player make a tackle in open field? Green Bay did that so well. Now, San Francisco, for the last how many years, has been the leaders in yards after the catch. All these guys catch the ball short, and they turn it into a big game. So the task for Green Bay is, again, what they did last week. Now, they beat the hell out of the Cowboys a lot of ways, but one of the ways was making tackles on short passes. And San Francisco, we know, lives on making big yardage on those. So that, to me, is one of the great matchups to watch in this game.
Okay, so that's what you think has to happen. But let's get to it, Mike. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, I mean, listen, I can't say because I'm calling the game. I can't pick a winner in this game.
We won't tell. We won't tell.
He's a pro.
We're not going to tell.
I have to be professional about this, so I certainly will not pick a winner. Like I said, I think that the biggest thing for Green Bay, because they're young, is don't give a team like San Francisco any extra chances, meaning don't turn the ball over, which they haven't done, because San Francisco will big-time take advantage of that by getting extra chances. But I have to say, Green Bay was so efficient. They ran 35 less plays than the Cowboys last week, and were obviously efficient with their plays. So to me, as I said, that comes down to on that defensive side for Green Bay and the short tackles, and for San Francisco, stopping the run and forcing, no matter how well Jordan Love has been throwing the ball as of late, he's been doing it off of a really good run game as well. So how well does San Francisco try and shut down this run from the Packers? That's as far as I'm going, guys. I'm not going to pick.
No, 31-14 Niners.
Yeah,
I heard it.
That's what I heard, too.
I heard
Thanks, Mike.
And
appreciate it.
I just tweeted it. I hope you're okay with that.
I love it because, man, when I was doing shows like you guys, that's exactly what I would be doing. So good move.
I love it.
No way. You used
not
to
what
do
you
radio?
said. It's how you said it. Yeah. You had a show?
Mike, great stuff, man. It's an honor to have you on, man. Thank you so much. Have a great call.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, there it is.
That's so funny.
Mike Golic Sr., Niners 31-14.